Next, we're finally going to come up this part of the building to see what's going on over here. So let's head around this corner first of all and find disappointment. And then we'll see what the fueling here does for us. First of all though, we need to start things off. This is kind of weird because normally when this happens, the things that come out animate. But here they just kind of pop into existence, which feels a little unpolished compared to the other versions of those we've seen where they've been a bit more fluid. Like in Levels example, they've been kind of in the door waiting to pop out in front of us, but there they just kind of appear. But here I'm just showing off, this is how you get to this ledge, but for like 1500 studs I'm not trying that, so otherwise I just end up going all the way around this building again, which would be annoying, so don't really need 1500 studs, so we can leave those. I mean, of course there'll be a lot more of that because of the multiplier, but you know. I mean, even just these bracelets are really rocketing it up anyway, so we're already unnecessarily high, so let's just keep going here, shall we? We have a bit of a puzzle here, because there's that gas cloud over there preventing us doing this part of the platforming here. So let's get rid of that by repairing the pipe. That'll do, good enough. Now we need to get up there. This is a weird part. I don't quite get this part, and you'll see why in a few minutes when I get up there. Making sure of a few things there as well, with a few routes, so just double checking. You never know when things might be hidden in stupid places, though, a little out of the way. Here we are. Let's finally get to the roof of this building and see what this lever does. Now, you might be expecting a super build of like a helipad or a crash mat or something like that. But instead, what we get is this. 16 blue studs. Why? There's nothing else here. We don't need these studs by the time we can get up here, because you might have the jetpack at that point, so you probably have tons of studs like I do. And it's just like a really weird little thing. There's nothing to it. It's a completely unique asset as well. There's nothing generic about it. They've just put this random thing here and given it a very small reward. It's not even like a super brick or anything like that. It's just, it feels weird that they did that. It kind of throws me off a little. Don't quite know what that's meant to be. Like, it's meant to be some kind of weird secret it's trying to reveal about something about that building. I have no idea, because I don't know the significance of the symbol on that thing either. All I know is it's not a helipad, or any kind of super build or anything like that, which you'd expect it to be. But fine. So this garage seems interesting. Let's see what's in here. Anything with rock music is interesting, isn't it? And there's a safe in here too. It seems significant, but it's just a large one of these again. And from this point on, that number is just going to get obscene. Much like our stud count on the top left is right now. Finally, we're going to pick up this thing what we spawned by shooting those 3 boxes of red things earlier. Violet the Berg. My least favourite token to find in this game because of just how out of the way her things are to shoot. Here we have something a bit more easy to notice, and they're all in one place as well. And as well as the first one being right next to this super race, so that's very nice. Super race? I'm combining my terms, but time trial, there we are. But yeah, this one, as you can see, gives us way less time. It's also much shorter distance, but it's very easy to accidentally screw up and run aground on these little slalom course thing areas because of just how wide this boat is. Now, these races I find weird, the waterborne ones, because they don't give you boats to unlock. You don't unlock boats like that in this game. You just have to kind of get lucky and find them at the docks and hope there's a boat you can actually drive there. Because quite often there just won't be one as well, which makes doing anything water related a real nightmare. Which is why I did Blackwell Bridge when I did, because I didn't want to have to wait till another boat came along. Because I knew it wasn't going to happen. There we go. And for doing the boat race, we unlock a forklift truck, okay? Fine, fine, fine. I'm okay with that, even if it makes very little sense. A lot of these feel very arbitrary because of that. These we don't really need to do. We've already seen what's at the ends of these, and it's fairly obvious what we do with jumping across them and everything. Still showing off a few of them, like, it's obvious what will happen when you interact with these objects. Here's an annoying thing. If you put something off screen when shooting the colour gun at it, it won't actually hit, so you have to see it go the entire distance, or it won't, or at least see it hit, or it won't count. But yeah, you just get some of these up so you can jump across these like this and get the super bricks that we've already got because the boat gave it to us, thankfully, for being so big a hitbox. So yeah, these are completely irrelevant. But I figured I'd show off at least what that one, like what the animation was to get across them and everything like that, just for completion's sake. That one's just obvious, just use the jetpack to get onto the first one. That one is grow the first one over there with the farmer. It's fairly self-explanatory, really. I don't need to show every single one off for absolutely no reward. There we go. Almost learned my lesson there. Let's take care of that barbecue in a minute. First I want to get that under... Oops, I failed to learn my lesson. So it's annoying when you see the shop behind it as well as trailing off into distance and you're just like, where are you going? That wasn't where I fired you. But that has spawned out right on the other end of the beach, which is always annoying. I mean, they're probably intending you to start from the Cherry Tree Hills section and go across the beach from there. But the first one I saw was at the boat, so I went the opposite direction. So let's just cut our way over there. Boop. To get Hot Tub McCready. This area is in the, I believe, southwest, in the area bordering Cherry Tree Hills. The other building on that border, to the left of it instead. Because you can see Cherry Tree Hills looming above us over there, the mansion that we found that last super build on in the last area. So yeah, one of those many areas with two of a particular thing. It's always weird, it feels a bit padded, but in some levels it kind of makes sense to have two of something. Like, for example, a few of the shopping districts have two cash machines to break, that kind of thing. That sort of thing makes sense, and I don't mind it there. It's just in areas like this where it's mostly industrial, it feels weird to have two plant pots to fill. You'd think those would be in the farm, yeah, that kind of thing. There's a few things where it doesn't quite fit as well as it could have done. I mean, I know it's more for visual variety, but yeah. But over here, we're finally climbing this building. Let's see how worth it this one is. And oh, that sparking fence is annoying to me. You'll see why when we actually interact with it. Surprisingly, in here isn't just a brick. It's a character token for Chris Parry. Wait, who? Some random businessman that we have no idea who it is. A lot of these tend to come down to random business people with different hair. For example, Dave kind of counts, but he was also actually in the actual game as the actual, like, in the plot somewhere, even if it was just a runaway gag. But you also have Dave something, for example, who was never really mentioned at all and isn't really a thing. He's not even like a character model, I don't think, that you fight or do anything with. I think he's probably just like one of the characters that would be filling a level in an office block area. For example, one of the guys in the office in the very first level, for example, might have been him, I didn't notice. That kind of stuff. Because obviously a lot of these characters will be found somewhere in the world. It's probably just a matter of being in the right district to actually spot them randomly spawning. But this is annoying to me. I had a lot of trouble navigating with this tiny pink car thing. For some reason, I had a lot of trouble with the controls on these RC vehicles. I'm just terrible at them, and here I got one stuck behind me like an idiot. So annoyingly, it just reverses back into position after it hits you. So I'm having a lot of trouble getting it back out of here. This is ridiculous. This has never happened to me before. It's just like, come on. Let's get out of this feedback loop somehow. Maybe Rex can make it behave, maybe we can intimidate it. Nope. Come on, get the car somewhere that's not directly behind me. That didn't work. No, don't reverse. You awful car. I hate you. That worked. It managed to bully Rex Fury, and that managed to give it a confidence boost, I guess. So yay, we've freed it from its little, from its very sweaty prison. So, oops! Oh no! Too steep a turn. This vehicle's so annoying. It's so tiny and so top heavy. It just does not control at all, and it makes what you need to do in here a complete nightmare. 'Cause you have to get it up these first and be perfect at doing it, otherwise this happens. Whoops. I kept this all in because I thought it was kind of funny, just to show off me really screwing up this stupid little pink thing. It's such a dumb puzzle, and it doesn't even give anything that's really worth it. It's just such a weird thing. Because you'd think you'd do this and get a character token, but you'll see that is not in fact the case. Because now that's not even the puzzle. Now it spawns a time break thing, which we all know what this means. It means we'll have to get a bunch of those little studs in a timer now. That's an annoying start for it to go on though at that angle. It's a bad angle for you to start at. Try and get to the start of that without... Whoops! Whoopsie! Oh dear, this is not my day. I'm making quite a mess. Studs are just flying, like, bricks are just flying everywhere. The car is in shattered pieces everywhere. I was trying to reset it there, and it's just like, nope, there's no option to do that. Running out of time, quick. Now I'm in a good angle, let's just get this done. Finally, I can drive somewhat well. Nope, fine, forget it. Good enough. I've got the studs on the thing. Come on, no. No, all that for a super brick. A big one, but a super brick all the same. It could have been a character token or a vehicle token or anything worth my while. But it was just a large super brick. Another 20,000 to add to the pile. It's like Mr. Burns and Gelatin at this point. With that one very early Simpsons episode. Like, season 1, wow. Back when Smithers was still black. Well, at least Grey, I can't remember. He was different, at least in the first few episodes, remember that much. There we go, we have Bobby Hammer. We actually kind of broke this a little bit. We were actually supposed to come the other way entirely. We'll see the rest of this route in a minute once I've finished breaking it. I just kind of got a little impatient there. I just wanted to get something tangible for my reward for my struggling with that bloody minigame. So over here, we have what's obviously meant to be the way back from something else. Nothing else here, this is more of a way back. But yeah, this is how we get on top of the gas station. But really, for literally 4,000 bricks, not really worth it. I'm not going to bother jumping down there going that entire route again off camera. That would be so annoying to have to do. Because I haven't even found the beginning of the route yet. So, we have our cat at the area. So let's rescue him. Or her. Or whatever this cat tends to be. Cats always just seem to be female in media. I don't really know why. It seems to just be the fact that the idea that they tend to be the more feminine of the genuses, while the canines tend to be more masculine. I guess is how they're perceived. Probably because dogs are generally bulkier. And it's the old kind of comic book style stereotyping going on there. Now I will not have any debates in the third about dogs versus cats. I'm fine with both. The whole dog person, cat person thing is just dumb to me, because while I wouldn't keep a dog as a pet because of the whole mess it leaves, I have had a couple of pet cats because they've been family pets. They've been fine, fairly chill. But a dog would just be exhausting for me, but I don't dislike them. I'm fine with other people's dogs. I'm just a little bit more timid, so I tend to prefer quiet animals like cats in general. The ones that don't jump up in your lap and annoy you. When the cats do that as well, they can be much worse than that, but dogs can do it more frequently. Depending on the situation, of course. I don't know why I'm going on this derail. It's just this is an interesting one because it's a drill field that requires us to change costumes. And no, water won't defeat rock. It's not Pokemon. Come on. Don't know what Fireman Boy was thinking there. It was not useful here at all. He played too many Game Boy games. But here we have another thing for the construction worker to play with. I think in a way the good way to summarise the whole dog and cat thing would be dogs want you to play with them. Dogs want to play with you, cats want you to play with them. Cats play when they're good and ready to, and never a moment sooner. And that's how we were meant to get over here. So we finally found the back end to that route, so yay. And over here we have another thing we can interact with that looks very similar, but it has a few things above it and a different object here. So let's play with that, shall we? And see what we can do with this combination of objects and this very super build under the water. This is a particularly interesting set piece for Auburn, one that is still fairly limited in scope, but it's fairly interesting compared to most things in Auburn, which is otherwise a fairly dull area to navigate. The Sky Glide, which is a weird thing to call it because it makes it sound like you're supposed to use the fan to do this in everyday life, which I don't know why anyone would ever encourage. It seems kind of dangerous, but it's powerful enough updraft we can ride it. It's a much bigger fan than most as well. This is a really big updraft, which is always fun to play with, so let's do it. Play with the updraft and get the mechanic. Hooray. Now we'll see what's up this rooftop. Of course, down here we have a single brick, but 2,000 not really worth it right now. And there's just a good sweep of the area to show just how big the circuit is. And here we're actually going to complete the circuit by putting out this fire. This is a weird part of the platforming because I can't even remember how you're supposed to get up there for the first part. It just kind of feels like a bit like a closed loop almost. It's fairly strange. But over here, this is a particularly weird little box because it's blocked in by dynamite. But you'll see why it's weird when I get in there. I'm going to do this a little bit backwards because I got a bit lost here with trying to get over that other fence. I accidentally go over the fence, so I'm like, whatever. I'll stick with it. This'll do. I can do this part backwards, but as you can see, there is absolutely nothing in here at all. I don't even know why the fence is there. Maybe just to make you waste dynamite if you haven't already got infinite dynamite on. Maybe some kind of weird trap. But it's just such an odd thing to put there. When we blow up the thing, maybe something will spawn. Nope. It's just a little, like, mechanic area for repairing cars. It's very strange. So up here we have what may be the most difficult thing in this area to actually pull off. This chicken glide followed by another way of getting across to the next part of this area. This is a very, very, very precarious bit of platforming that we need to do. Which is part of the reason this is my least favourite area to do, because this is just a pain to do. There's one other bit of platforming like it that's equally irritating for different reasons. But this one, if you're a little bit off on the chicken glide, just slightly too early, you can actually not have enough chicken glide to get to the end of this area. You can actually just end up bumping up against that railing there and end up not being able to get onto this crane, which is really annoying because then you have to go all the way around the bridge again, climb up the thing and get all the way back to this and do this really slow chicken glide to get to this. And then the camera does this, which is not helpful at all, but that's just showing us where we need to go, of course. But it's just kind of weird because it feels like it's going to throw you off the edge of the thing if you don't stop running and let the camera finish turning first. It's fairly mean. This in general is an odd bit of platforming. In this you have to be exact. You have to basically keep it going until the very extremity of the jetpack. If you cut it off a little early, you'll just fall. But here we are, we make it to the most rewarding area to actually claim, because it's the most difficult one to do. I guess rewarding is the wrong word, but it's definitely the most difficult. And from here we have a few other things near the crane zone we can play with, so I'm just going to head down there while here. Whoop. So this crane over here is interesting. Unlike the other crane, which was kind of a trap when it came to having little platforms that it looked like it could climb up, but it was a little bit too far away from each other. This crane obviously has ladders, and as you can see on the right, it also has little pegs, which means this one we can actually climb. It's weird, you never get onto the other crane. It's very unusual there. It feels like that crane is something you should be able to climb, but you just can't. You get onto the other crane, but not that one. I mean, you get onto every other crane, but not that one. It's fairly weird. There's just nothing there. So here we are. Let's do our final run-up to get our character token on top of this crane. I quite like this one because it's a decent kind of visual style to it. It's a very good kind of build up to the top of the crane because of the way the camera works and everything like that. Let's just cut to the other side of the docks again. Whee! That's always fun. So over here we have this little building I almost forgot about, which has a few little things to do up here. Jetpack's not quite high enough, we can't land on that ledge, so let's try and find another way around using this fence. This, of course, we can break to make a little bouncy pad, but, you know, I've had the jetpack. At this point, it's been long enough that I'm kind of sick of things in Auburn. Because Auburn is, again, my least favourite area to navigate. It just feels very flat and fairly uninteresting to actually play. Which is a shame, because it's got some nice looking parts to it. It's just, for the most part, it's an industrial area. And what can you really do with those? Yeah. They were kind of hampered by what they were trying to do with this area. It was destined to be kind of dull. But it makes sense construction worker would have fun here. After all, this is his environment. At least he's relevant to this environment. This takes us over here. And of course over here we have the ability to listen in on someone's conversations. Let's do that, shall we? This one's actually got some unique dialogue that I quite like for the optional ones. I quite like these ones.
Hi, do you work here?
I do.
Great. Do you know when the last train is?
Of course. I wouldn't be a very good station inspector if I didn't, would I? Dearie me, what a silly question.
Okay, remember, you need to get off the train when it reaches Uptown. But don't worry, your Uncle George will be waiting for you there. Now, are you going to be a brave boy and give Mommy a kiss goodbye without crying?
I'm 46, Mother. Now give me my bag lunch and teddy bear. Hi, do you work here?
I do.
Whoops. Repeating.
Come on,
Accidentally done that one.
Where you been?
Sorry, I thought we were meeting on the other platform. I almost approached a group of tourists because I thought it was you guys in disguise.
You idiot. Well, now everyone's here. We can head to the beach.
And kick over sandcastles?
You betcha.
Kicking over sandcastles? Not on my watch, you evil hooligans!
So let's get to the beach on a relatively lenient time limit. It was a very long distance, so instead of walking that entire way, we actually get a bit lucky and manage to do something a little clever. Because this taxi just happens to try and run us over. So revenge. Cheeky boy, that taxi. But it was fairly fortuitous timing because we needed to get somewhere quickly, and a vehicle's the best way to do so. His car's totaled, who cares? He can pick it up from there.
Come on,
Let's
gang.
beat up some
Let's
dudes.
ruin some holidays.
I'm sure getting in a fight on the beach will probably do that on its own. Or I just built those sandcastles at the beginning of the game, so leave them alone.
I hope I get my old cell again. I'll put up curtains.
Alright, put them up. Sheesh, this is not my day.
There's one that I quite like with his little comments that we haven't got so far. That's just a really cute little thing to say.
Stop, or I will keep running after you.
I don't know why it's taking so long for him to say it, because it seems to happen in a lot of the crowd fights that I've been in this game. But I guess we'll see it eventually when it finally decides to spawn that particular person or say it. There's the gang arrested. Very nearly done with Auburn now. We've only got a few more things to pick up here. First of all, up here, we have this that we can play with, getting across here. And we're on the other side of that weird part of the jump now as well. So let's break this open to get a simple brick. Again, for all I knew it could have been a character token in there. I haven't memorized this area. But now we'll actually use the jetpack to get to that set of studs on the wall that we saw earlier but ignored. So we can climb this tower, which I failed at climbing multiple times, so I'm just skipping to an edge and managed to latch onto that ledge. That was really annoying to try and do. I kept missing it because the camera's a little odd there. It's a little hard to tell exactly what you're meant to be looking at. But yeah, there we have Lance Limburger. He's a pretty nice guy, I guess. But I'm sure he is anyway. Here the camera tried to be cheeky there and not allow us to see it, but if we go over there here we can go down this side of the roof. There's not really a lot to the AJ building, it's a fairly dull part of the... it doesn't really feel like there's a lot to do on a lot of these buildings. A lot of these buildings feel kind of pointless, which is kind of a shame, because like, all the buildings are just kind of ways to get to other buildings, and they don't really have a lot going for them themselves. But over here, we can see another character token hovering in the distance, so let's find how to get that. Here we have nearly 300,000 of those bricks now, we're never wanting for them again. To think we started with that 80,000 in this video. There's a lot of them in each of these areas, so yeah, we really do not need anywhere near all of them. There's probably like 1 million of them worth. Maybe even more, but this I just had trouble finding. I had to look this one up because I'd forgotten I hadn't already got it. This token annoyed me so much, but it's the last thing to do in this level. So let's grab the token, and I will see you next time when we explore a new area that hopefully won't be now long. Goodbye.